Hey everyone, this is Drew, one of the pastors here at Hope. I oversee youth ministry and our visual communications. So today I wanted to share a little bit of what we did at the small group leaders roundtable. I'll try to make this quick. This is something I love to talk about, and is really at the core of disciple making for me, and I think for all of us. And so I want to give you a little tool that I think will help you help people follow Jesus more. If you see here on the timeline, I'm going to use my little whiteboard here, and I have kind of a line here from -1 Houston, but this obviously goes way back to -1 billion, and it goes all the way here, and this is Jesus at the end. Yeah. And so what I'm going to talk about really quickly is I think we're going to help assess where on this people are in your small group, and I want you to think about as you assess where they're at on here, how you can help give them one small step to move closer to Jesus, rather than just thinking big, like I just want them to move towards Jesus. We just want them to be like the greatest follower of Jesus ever, and we do. We want them in their Bibles, praying, helping people know Jesus, sharing the gospel, helping people, loving people. We want this city to know them, to know Jesus, but that happens in tiny steps. So let me just share this really quickly. So we have this kind of continuum here towards Jesus, and how I usually categorize this as people who follow. When they first come to Christ, it's 0 here. They first learn how to follow Jesus. It's just them and Jesus. It's an intake thing. It's Jesus pouring into them. That's the way we say it a lot. Then they start to overflow as they learn to follow a lot, and they overflow into people who follow and fish. So they not only are following Jesus, but they're also fishing for other people. Right? Jesus says to his disciples, "I will make you fishers of men." So this is an opportunity to follow and fish. And lastly, I think a part that we don't want to forget is that not only these people, we're helping people follow and fish, but we also are follow fishing and multiplying people. And so for us as small group leaders, we get to move into that role. We're actually helping facilitate allowing other people to have the opportunity to help others follow and fish. So ultimately, we're making disciples who make disciples who make disciples who make disciples who make disciples. And 2,000 years after Jesus was on earth, we still are here today making more disciples. So this model works the way Jesus did it with his disciples. I want to encourage you to think about doing it in your small group. So the way to do this is to think through, assess a person. Is this person right now just intaking Jesus? Is it just a lot of them and Jesus, which is fine. There's times where we need that, just them and Jesus. Is the person in your small group intaking Jesus, but also overflowing? Are they praying for people? Are they willing to read scripture with people? Are they willing to share their own story, testimony, gospel with people? Are they willing to step out and start looking at other people, not just their relationship with Jesus? Or are these people at a place where you need to give them a step towards moving to actually following and fishing and multiplying, that they're now actually the people they've been pouring into, they're teaching them how to multiply to more people? So you kind of are taking yourself out of the equation as I think you just move closer to who Jesus is. Now, all these things just add to each other. It's not like when you start fishing, you stop following, because in fact, you can't fish if you're not following. And so as we kind of look at this whole continuum here, this goes for people anywhere on this. So if you have a friend who's a -30, you can still think, how can I give them one small step to move closer to Jesus? Or if you have a person who's at 2 here, you think, okay, they're following fishing, how can I give them a step to maybe start thinking about that? I'll give you two quick examples. One, we have someone in our small group, let's say, who likes to pray in small groups, so they're praying a lot, them and Jesus. You give them one small opportunity. What's one thing I can do to say, I want to help you start thinking about other people and helping them know Jesus? So you say, how about in small group, who are some people we can pray for that we would hope would come to know Jesus? You're given an opportunity to think outside themselves about other people and start praying for someone. That's a really simple way that I think oftentimes could be overlooked. Or maybe even here, sometimes that's a great opportunity to say, would you be willing to read the scripture, or could you even explain to me, read the passage and explain to us what that passage means? You're now teaching them a skill that they're going to be able to use to follow and fish. And lastly here, the other example I want to give you is, we just recently had a youth who, a high school boy who I'd say was way down the spectrum, maybe a -10, whatever, didn't want anything to do with Jesus, and has got to know him, realized he doesn't trust Christians. So the first step for him to maybe get a little closer, maybe a -8, maybe a -2, maybe a -1, is to just trust a Christian. So for us, we're saying, hey, I'm going to hook you up with a mentor that we have here that works with high school guys. You're just going to get to know each other and build relationships so you can trust a Christian, because that step of just trusting a Christian could lead to you trusting what he has to say, lead to you understanding the gospel, and hopefully lead to you moving on this blip closer to Jesus. So I just want to encourage you that. Thanks for your time, and thank you for your many hours and hard work and heart that you put into helping people follow Jesus. This is the greatest calling and the most exciting calling and the hardest calling, and we're making disciples. So I want to encourage you just to think where people are at and help them take a tiny step. Be creative in this, and continue to be people who follow, fish, and multiply. Thank you. I pray for you all the time, and we love you guys.